Snaggletooth, and more, each sold separately. And now, Boba Fett, Star Wars villain with his laser rifle. Boba Fett is not yet available in stores, but you can get him free with 4 proofs of purchase from any Star Wars action figures. Details on specially marked packs at participating stores. Offer ends May 31st. Star Wars action figures sold separately from Kenner.
Happy New Year, everybody. It's only January 3rd. Welcome back to PopCon. A salute to all pop culture, but mostly the 80s. And I am your G1 or Generation 1 host, Victor, a slave to the 80s. Now, if you heard my last show, I mentioned the haul I made at Christmas. It was pretty big. And I think it's about time I rip open those blister packs, those window boxes, and reveal some of the action figures that represent some of my favorite things. The fabulous franchises made famous in the 1980s. It's kind of a tongue twister. Now, if you haven't yet, go back and watch my unboxing of the Jabba Palace playset from Star Wars Vintage Collection. Now, if you do, come right back and see this one. You know what? Now that I'm talking about it, I'll probably just show you in this video, but I still want you to watch it. So either way, see them both. All right, let's continue. With so many options for the adult collector to choose from, the Star Wars Vintage Collection is the toy line of choice for me that best represents Star Wars for my collection. Now, up until recently, I've had no real representation of Star Wars at all, which is odd because it has one of the greatest impacts of my life, and probably yours too. But the Jabba's Palace playset spoke to me.
The next prisoner, Gamorian Guard. Gladly, Jabba the Hutt.
C-3PO, new Gamorian Guard, and Jabba the Hutt playset, each sold.
No, not this playset. This, the Vintage Collection playset. And it said, buy me. And after I got it, all I had to do was grow from there. It came with Han Solo as well as the Carbonite and the character Rihis, but I needed a few more characters to flesh out that scene, and that's where these two guys come in. All right, well, here we go with the first one I got, and I got this under my Christmas tree. Boba Fett. Here he is on the Empire Strikes Back card, again, part of the Star Wars Vintage Collection. I find that pretty appropriate since that's the first time we really saw him theatrically. And also the very memorable, as well as recently debuting in the Book of Boba Fett, the Gamorian Guard. So since these guys are prominently featured in the show and they're both in there and it's about that, why not debut them together, right? Makes sense, seems a little obvious, right? How do you collect Star Wars? Do you have a certain line, a set of characters, a scene, a movie? How do you display them or show your love for Star Wars? Let me know in the comments. All right, let's take a look at what makes these guys special. Let's get it on. Nowhere does the packaging say Vintage Collection. Actually looks just like the original Empire Strikes Back card back Boba Fett was found on, right down to the flames of his flamethrower. Except there is no starburst saying get secret Star Wars action figure. The back does reveal the Vintage Collection logo as well as other characters found in that release. With the Gamorrean Guard, it's the same thing. There is a slightly different coloring to the background, but it's the same card back from Return of the Jedi, even down to the brand name Kenner. On the back of this vintage Star Wars card back, it shows you the original card, as well as the other character action figures and cards in that line.
Star Wars. You and your children loved it.
Now the Earthlings at Popcorn have asked my associate and me to humbly request you subscribe to this channel. Fantastic content is waiting. May the Force be with you.
You know, this part's really weird. A lot of people have anxiety for different things, but I simply get anxiety when I'm opening these. Like, I get them, I see them, I love them, I look at them for a while, miss them, but then I want them on the shelf. As you can see right there, there's Jabba's Palace, and it's crying for more action figures. And Boba Fett, well, he was there. He was right there at Jabba's Palace. He had brought his prized possession to Jabba. But here we go, about to open this up. It does give me a little anxiety, I'm not sure why, but I want it bad, right? And I'm not a keeper of cards, so, whoa! Very nice and easy ripping it off. Hey, these are so wonderful, but I don't need them. So here I go with the little blistery pack, opening them up. It's like a little sarcophagus, isn't it? Now, what I love is there is, oh wow, okay. You gotta be really careful with this one. His missile pack is sticking through the plastic, so it is wise to take him from underneath. That was easy, right? It was very easy. God, I am holding this little action figure guy here, and he does totally remind me of the Boba Fett I had in 1983. Yeah, I didn't get him with the free Boba Fett or the mail away in that time. I did eventually get Boba Fett, and that is great. And with his new show out on Disney Plus, I love having him. It's like totally appropriate. Now, inside as well, we've got his blaster and his blaster pistol. It's like a blaster rifle and a pistol as well. So that is really nice. Can't wait to get him. Oh, he has fabric for his cape, so it's not plastic, but it is pretty nice. That's very, very cool. So there's one we have just unopened. Woohoo! Yeah! It's exciting, right? Can't wait to get them up there. But we're going to show you in detail how these guys move and do some comparisons too. So here we are with the Gamorian Guard. If you were paying attention, they do look a bit different in the new show, but I think that's because the actual actors who look the part. I mean, I'm not going to say they're pigs or anything, but these were definitely giant kind of costume puppetry. Anyway, here we go with Mr. Gamorian Guard. You know, I'm not much of an army builder, but I'd probably get 2 or 3 of these guys. So here I am opening the Gamorian Guard, little pig-faced guys. They first meet R2 and C-3PO as they enter. Oh my gosh. So you can immediately, you've got, oh, rubbing his Buddha belly. Yeah, he's got his fur cloth, his skirt there, the rest of his costume. But he's kind of set in really fun. His feet are kind of, his feet are actually strange. Like Boba Fett's rocket, his feet are on the other side of the plastic. So I show off his helmet. Pieces come off. Okay. That's weird. There we go. All right. Mr. Gamorian Guard here. Oh, hold on. Oh, he's not complete without this little helmet here. So let me see if I can get that back on. Oh, nice and easy. The helmet there does come off really, really easy. Oh, he's great. His look is fantastic. I am brought right back to Return of the Jedi. First act, Jabba scene, Jabba's palace. So we're going to look at him in just a moment a little closer. Now he has 3 weapons. He has 2 different kinds of axe and what possibly is just a prod. Maybe it's an electric cattle prod. Move it! What he pushes the guys with. Yeah, so he's got 3 weapons in there. So they're unboxed. They're about ready to go. You want to see them up close? Of course you do. Let's put these guys on the carousel. This is the Gamorrean Guard in that Star Wars Vintage collection. His detail is amazing. Looks like he jumped right off the screen from Return of the Jedi with those big bulbous legs and those huge hands. The detail in the weapons like this cattle prod, you gotta look it up close and really appreciate that. As well as the detail in the armor and of course, the furry, I don't want to call it loincloth, kind of the skirt. That helmet pops right off and the head looks really complete even without it. But that helmet just keeps popping on and off. Nothing keeps it. There are 2 axes. I do prefer the one in his hand right here, and that's how I'll have them displayed. With Boba Fett, wow. This figure is beautiful. I can't say anything wrong with the scuffed wear and tear of the armor, the beautiful cloth cape, the rocket pack here. He also comes with a pistol that fits in the holster. So that's how I have it. I have it in the holster on my shelf. He's carrying the laser rifle, but he's got the look down to those kind of small half boots, the armor, the utility pack. Let's talk posability. Taking the weapons away, his arms, Boba Fett's arms are great. The upper half is really good. Head turns up and down, back and forth. The arm's wrist, the forearm. When it comes to his leg and his hip, the utility packs kind of get in the way so he doesn't have full range of motion, but he does on the toe point, so he can do some great ballet. The rocket pack pops off, but even like G.I. Joe Classified, it comes off way too easy. Now, he's got the head turn, there's a little rubber on the visor, but when it comes to his arms, they're fantastic, except for that little molding wiring at his elbow, probably for some detail in his weaponry, but it made the right arm a little difficult to get the elbow to start moving. Both guns fit in either hand really well, and he poses phenomenally, so love this character. When it comes to posability of the Gamorrean Guard, popping out these weapons here, he does have the same wrist and forearm movement, and the arms go up and down, but they don't really go up and down at the shoulder because the armor's too big. The head moves up and down and back and forth really easy, and the feet and the knees are really good, but he even has less mobility at the hips, probably because he has really fat hips, and he just gets in the way a lot. And as I mentioned before, that helmet just keeps coming off, It's a game you play. So here is the action figure of today. Here is the action figure of 1983. We've come a long way, baby. Especially what we saw on the screen. We're really getting those likenesses in modern action figures. We've come a long way, but we liked it in 1983. Same with Boba Fett, although his mass release came in 1983 because I didn't get the mail away. There was the prototype, the mail away that promised a shooting rocket that ended up not having a shooting rocket, but it didn't even have a cape. So what we got in 83 is a far cry from what we have today, especially with what we saw on the screen. This delivers the Boba Fett we fell in love with 7 minutes of screen time. Okay, wait a minute, hold everything. About 3 days after filming these action figures, getting unboxed and putting them on the carousel, I am readjusting Boba Fett up there, and I'm like just moving his head when boop, his helmet popped off. Not his head, his helmet. That's right, nowhere on the package did it mention this helmet came off. And what did it reveal? Well, let me show you. I didn't do any extra research on this figure, nor did I do any deep digging. I just found out that his head popped off. Well, his helmet. And right under it, it's a face. I was totally shocked. And here he is. And it looks just like Tamora Morrison. My mind was blown. I was just looking for a figure that represented what I wanted. Well, the helmet is very cool. The visor is rubber, doesn't move down, but it does fit snugly on his head, so you can have it featured either way. It makes it even better. Well, they look pretty awesome up there, and I can't wait as I see more action figures go into Jabba's palace right there. The place is going to get a little full, I know, but it's going to be a great scene. It's going to really fill out that area, and it makes me excited to get more. Now, for those of you who have been going on this journey with me, it's not simply to fill Jabba's palace. It's legitimately to showcase all of my favorite franchises, the ones that I grew up loving, and in the only way I know how. Select representation of those franchises with modern action figures or toys. If they have them, of course, like Masked does not yet. But all with the goal to fill the PopCon Playhouse here with visual representation and images of the things that brought me so much joy and inspiration throughout my life. There's something about Return of the Jedi, the Jabba's Palace scene, that sums up all of my Star Wars love. And that's why I selected this scene to represent Star Wars. Like, I'm not going to go out and get the Ewok village, although it's quite similar. I have a love-hate relationship with the Ewok. But the scene in Jabba's palace is where everyone's together, the heroes and the villains. And yes, it isn't Darth Vader and the Stormtroopers. This was a very unique scene filled with a denizen of crazy, creative, imaginative creatures, but you still had Luke, Leia, Han, Chewie, everybody. So I thought it was a great representation for my Star Wars love. Now, it's also the end of the original trilogy, so I thought that was a great representation, and that's what I'm doing. That's what I've selected to do. I'm sticking with Star Wars Vintage, and I've got more to put up there. So it really kind of sums up my feeling, and it was a perfect choice. So now I've got a place for them, and if you've got a place to check out new toys getting unboxed from all those kind of 80s franchises, come to me, come to PopCon. Hope to see you again. Thanks for being here. Remember to subscribe, like, and comment. Really helps me out, helps out the channel. I can use the help. And until next time.